Venezuela's president has a warning for the United States. If you mess with our country, you're messing with all of South America. President Nicolas Maduro made those comments in a rare news conference on Monday amid the build-up of U.S. naval forces in the Caribbean. Officials in Washington say ships are moving into the region to combat drug trafficking, allegedly linked to Venezuela. But President Maduro has not taken kindly to the show of force, calling it the biggest threat seen in South America in a century.
8 military ships with 1,200 missiles and a nuclear submarine are targeting Venezuela. This is an extravagant, unjustifiable, immoral and absolutely criminal, bloody threat. They have wanted to escalate what they call maximum pressure, which in this case is military. And in response to maximum military pressure, we have declared maximum preparedness for the defense of Venezuela.
Michael Shifter is a senior fellow at the Policy Forum Inter-American Dialogue, and he joins me now from Washington. Appreciate you being with us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
So why are U.S. warships heading toward Venezuela? What's the likely plan, and how long would you expect this fully loaded U.S. flotilla to remain off the coast of that country?
Well, I think it's a matter of speculation about exactly why they're there. The stated reason is to combat drug trafficking. And the president of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, has been labeled a narco-terrorist by the Trump administration. And so this is the stated rationale for the presence of this flotilla. But it really is extremely heavy, unusually heavy, unprecedented. So there's a lot of speculation that there may be other objectives in mind, including a strike, a military strike in Venezuela, or possibly even a taking out Maduro himself. So I think there's a lot of speculation about what's actually involved, and the flotilla will probably be there for a while, probably another couple of weeks.
And Venezuela's dictator Nicolas Maduro is claiming the U.S. plans to invade Venezuela. How likely is that, though? Even a limited strike, perhaps, on the country?
Yeah, I think an invasion is really out of the question. There are 4,000 Marines that are on this flotilla. An invasion would require 100,000 troops. Venezuela is a huge country. It's a complex country. It's a big country. And so this is not really realistic. Whether there's a surgical strike on some laboratory or some other target, that's conceivable, but it's not without risk. You don't know what that could set off. And I think the United States has to be extremely careful. I think there's a lot of peril in this, and there could be mistakes, and that could be extremely costly.
And Michael, with a $50 million bounty on Nicolas Maduro's head, how likely is it that the U.S. ultimately plans a regime change? And how much tolerance would there be for that in the region if that is indeed the goal here?
Well, Maduro is not popular in the region at all, and he's been a destabilizing force. I think most countries would like to see a change in government, would like to see him go, but they're also extremely sensitive to the unilateral military actions of the United States in Latin America, which has an unhappy history in many cases. And I think there would be a strong reaction calling for protection of sovereignty and not intervention, even though that he's not popular. There's no love lost for most governments for Nicolas Maduro.
And of course, as you point out, Michael, a lot of speculation, but how likely is it that this is simply a counter-narcotics operation? And if so, why so many U.S. warships?
Well, I think that's the big question. That's why I think a lot of analysts think that it's not limited to that it has other objectives. It clearly is an intimidation of the regime. It's a scare tactic. It's a way to apply more pressure by such a show of force, which is unprecedented. Maduro is obviously very nervous. You could tell by his reaction. And I think the United States likes to put him in that kind of position. But whether it will actually take some action and go further, I think would carry enormous risks. I'm not sure whether President Trump, his administration, are really prepared to go down that road of what could happen.
The region is watching this very closely, of course. Michael Shifter, thank you so much joining us from Washington. Appreciate it.